Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the new series of Imperator Rome, featuring Invictus for the first time in this channel, where I play as Sogdia, which has grown to a regional power now, instead of a local power, in which we have expanded by taking Fergana, parts of Karascata, and parts of Shul. So we've expanded pretty big. It would be perhaps a little too big as far as aggressive expansion is concerned. But who am I to say? Let me see. If you want to get rid of this faster, that's good. Should have been ideal if we were aggressive expansionists, which we're not at the moment because our manpower, we lost a lot of men in a war that should have been very easy, but it just didn't. And also I've taken interest of the Khwarezmian situation. You know, originates from there, but they recently expanded there, taking out the Massagetan. So we are concerned about our side of the Jaxates River. This side is what we're referring to. I thought about going to war against the Khwarezmian revolt in an easy war. You know, just to throw them off and let their loyalists win. And at the same time, we're trying to trade with Bactria to give us their horses. Although we have lived peacefully alongside of our second neighbors for many years, we are not unaware of their gradual encroachments into lands that should be our own. First, they settled on our side of the river, even daring to claim some of the mountain lowlands as their own. The Jaxates is a perfect place to delineate our territories, the best natural border that we could ever ask for. The Sackets must be made to understand that we will not allow their settlements within a day's ride in our lands. It would be best for everyone to stay on their side of the river. That's something that we are considering. A granary in our capital and in Alexandria Gestante. That will occur. So more increased food supply for our troops to go from one place over the other without the fear of, you know. And it would be ideal to take all of this. This is part of Church. And then there's Upper Jaxatia, all part of Sogdiana. We're getting there. It's possible, we just gotta be patient. Semtis is a man of many faults, but a cold heart is not one of them. All of his fears are lyrical on the subject of his argument, friendships, and passions. He's gained loving. There you go, diplomatic relations up. A warm heart and kind gaze can always be found with Semtis. So that means if he wants to, he can make more friends. In fact, you might as well start making a few friends here. would be best to befriend the heads of the house. Old man and in perfect health. He's the rival. Hey, you're the house head, right? Yeah, you are. For him. And as for the other, because I didn't look at the last one. You're not. Well, who is it then? This man? Yeah, it's him. He's a bit healthy. Like to befriend him. It could help us some, one or the other. Wild beasts in the far corners of the earth make for an eye-catching and exotic gifts. Various merchants throughout the region offer a wide range of creatures for both arena and private owners, from Scythian colts to Nubian leopards. The question is, which impressive beast to send? And this is personal wealth, not the treasury. So only a tiger is sure to win him over. A large amount of progress towards befriending him. And also we are trying to integrate the Tayuan people. Just to increase our levy size. Integrating their troops into ours. A previously unknown gladiator was recently arisen to great prominence in the arena, drawing huge crowds and by all accounts putting on a peerless show. A well-placed box, you could easily win him over. Buy and gift him to us. Another martial perk. Loyal generals. This has increased the loyalty of generals and admirals, even though we don't have either. I'll be sure to start going this way. Heated debates in the court of Nanakon, especially where so many prominent members of society are involved. Lately, a wave of xenophobia swept across Sogdia, resulting in foreign values being regarded with great distrust. All in attendance at today's debate agreed, or that Artixian crossed the line today when he accused King Samtish of indulging in barbaric opium practices. Turn the other cheek. Finish up. More citizen output. Varzone is the target of brazenly outspoken critic who has been provoking his ire for some time. It seems the loudmouth is protected by political opponents of Varzone and believes so to be untouchable. This could be an excellent opportunity to impress him. They don't hurt nobody. A few bribes and some thugs will solve this. Bitter feud between the court is bustling with sycophants, claimants, and pretenders. It is of little surprise, therefore, that two of the most ambitious claimants to the throne of Sogdia have found themselves at odds. These conflicts have a way of getting out of hand. Perhaps we ought to step in and limit the potential for escalation. Let them fight. More zeal. Our efforts to encourage the friendship between him and I have paid off. Damn laziness. We're getting there, slowly but surely. Unless they got horses over there, which they do. Sogdia is expanding. Okay, I think this maybe sound a little, premature, but we're thinking about just fight a quick war against the Khwarezmian revolt so we can occupy this and parts of that as much as we can. They can have this, but we're going to try to win a quick one. Even though I see no fortresses, but it'll do. They won't call upon us, which is fine by me. Upper Jaxartia will be the goal. We can do it on our own. Let's just hope it'll be a quick and painless war. It's just I lost my patience and I saw something to that. Let's take this and you win. And then you could just sit back and relax. Move on. This will do. That. Because I suspect that they're up there somewhere, so we're just gonna take parts of this and then we'll win it. Damn mouse wheel. So far, so good. Head this way. I hope they don't have a large army. But we are winning big in a war score. Siege is ongoing. Can't have a look at it. But we'll be more than happy to take this land off of them. Yeah. Now be on guard. There's nobody there, so I guess it's safe to say that they're down there. And the Khwarezmians are dealing with them. Now, what do you say? Will you give us this land? Yeah, I told you. Quick and easy war. Yes. with minor aggressive expansion to go up a bit, and then we can disband our levies without having to see any bloodshed. Very happy with that result. And more importantly, we got horses. We should do that every once in a while. Take advantage of other people's issues. I mean, if you want to import your own horses to take from one province over to the other, what you need is, let me see. Every slave population will provide additional horses. Oh, that's... Don't worry. You're part of Church now, which is one of our territories. You're one of us now. But since they're holding on pretty well, considering, I mean, they're the ones that started that war. Well, they're going to deal with what's left of the Khwarezmi revolt. Yep, they took the fort. So that means this is going to fall as well. That means the last of the Khwarezmi revolt was in Bukhara, which is Bukhara as we know it today. Just stopped short of the real objective of Vesta. Aha! Let's do it. We gotta build a slave estate here anyway. You know, it's gonna take 2 years' time. Rights of Church. Some of our youth in the settlement of Church has started partaking in the old fertility rites, to the chagrin of some of our seers and elders. Church has demanded that we put an end to this and make sure the youth start respecting the wishes of their elders once more. The rites are certainly effective though, and the youth seems happier than they used to be. That's right, so let's put an end to this. So once it's finished, and then we get more of these step horses here. Okay. So yeah, we took advantage of that situation by taking some of that land. We can only hope that another civil war breaks out and then we take pieces of their land. So now they're going to fully focus on Sogdia. Should the Khwarezmians win, then we should start worrying about them. Especially that they got a border fortress. We do have a claim on Shul, but should civil war break out, then we'll take care of that. If not, then who knows? Again, we can't get this done. You gotta get boot first, which is, you know, all the way over there. Oh, we're trying to import horses. Is anyone gonna give us one? Maybe I gotta start kissing up to Bactria a little bit, despite the fact that we consider Bactria as this part of the series as the main antagonist. Poor health, dysentery. You know, what if I were to befriend you, huh? Be careful with the amount of money that you're going to be spending. Bungling burglar. In the dead of night, Alegoxian scaled the walls of the brood belonging to Sam Tish. When he failed to recognize, perhaps as that, Sam Tish himself was indulging in a late-night wine-tasting session with a few of his closest friends. Needless to say, I came to his senses after being pitched to the nearest balcony. Good riddance. That dummy lost his health and he's ailing. I guess he was trying to assassinate me. Don't want to do that back to him. We're having trade relations with Bactria now. So does that mean, are you going to finally give us your horses? Not quite there yet. We just don't get that much food these days. There's a lot of tyranny around here. But this lowers the aggressive expansion faster. Recruitment drive. The right to join the military and defend Sogdia through force arms has long been a point of pride of our citizens. Now, increasing rights bestowed upon the Taiwan people, calls are mounting that should be allowed to serve in the military as well, as a possible solution to our dwindling manpower reserves. Of course, this might well cause jealousy and resentment with our existing soldiery, many who still view the Taiwan as their old enemy. That lowers our discipline for a bit. For 5 years. It's an excellent idea. Almost there. And they'll be willing to trade us their horses and they will lose their capital bonus from there. Gimme, 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 gimme. It is no secret that we have access to the best horses known to man. Indeed, the entire world is well aware of this fact, for better and for worse, while others simply import these magnificent beasts. We have a long, well-established tradition of training our mounts here at home. These magnificent steeds require the best provender available. So we must build a granary express for their feed, which we have built their granary. We have imported the horses and still importing these steppe horses. So on completion, we will spend 40 gold and 25 of our political influence to get those heavenly horses, which are cavalry, heavy cavalry, and the horse archers have a stronger offense. So they will fight better. Instead of how we fought initially against Fergana. Now that we are able to provide the animals with enough feed year-round, we have seen an explosion of activity when it comes to training mounts in our capital. Everyone can clearly see how superior these animals from the Fergana Valley are. And as Samtish watches the cavalry practicing their maneuvers, he visibly winces everything as there is a loud crack of wood upon metal. The absolute savage ferociousness of these animals is hard to believe. I would not be able to stand against these charging horses. And since we got some free manpower coming from the Taiwan people, well, we're going to use them. Our lands are considered to be on the border of the civilized realm and the wild unknown. And here we are in the middle of the two. The northern steppes are filled with a variety of nomads. And there are some who will venture to the periphery to barter with the settled peoples. We should reach out and establish trade connections. And once again, we're going to spend our money and our political influence for this. And that free manpower we just got, well, they're going to go off today. In which Sogdia will gain permanently the steppe trading connections. But we'll have to wait a year for it. Get us some grain. Because we're having, food shortages. Although it's going to take a year later. It's just some of that's going to be gone in a year. And as well as the money we are making for the treasury and the political influence that we're still gaining because I'm still using that scheme. Of influencing stakeholders. I'm still doing that. While sacrificing my popularity for this. The talent of Bear knows no bounds. In his role as researcher, he dictates that his capacity for further innovation is increased. We're sure to benefit from this situation. We gain an innovation. As much as I like being military intensive these days, but we need to think clearly about this. Oh, that's all naval related. That's no good. This is more cavalry, maybe siege intensive and defense. Well, what about cooperate with me, mouse wheel? Keep looking. Free manpower. Loyalty of characters. Diplomatic reputation. Religious advances, which is only one. There's that thing. I'm not quite sure. And we're still far away from reaching the next level. But I think it should be economic intensive, so go for standardized measures. So we'll have import value plus 5. The Amphora Capitolina was the amphora that kept the temple in Jupiter, by which All other amphoria was tended to be measured. So there you go, little monetary gain for imports. And in less than a year, we're going to have a further increase of imports, of the value of it, which would help our commerce. Yeah, that's a big issue. Big issue. It's like we got a granary, but you don't really have the means to find the lands that has food production. There's livestock over there, but it hasn't been colonized yet. It is less than 8 pumps. And cannot provide for any colonies. I wonder. Hey, move out there. That's not how it works, though, but if you recall how colonization works, is less than. Plus you're spending a bit of money for moving that. Okay, now it's gaining back up. Now it's no longer an issue. They've ended their war. It remains a small entity. But can you imagine having this land to myself? Even though it's mainly Sakkans living there. And the trade goods, look at the trade goods. Fruits. Livestock. They even have access to jade. As tempting as it is. What's going on over there? Look at our populations versus ours. We have way more. So we can't always assume that Khwarezmia has a smaller army due to a smaller population. Don't think like that. If our next war is going to be against them, then we have to be at our A game, one would think. Still healthy despite depression. A sizable quantity of tribal people resided in the city of Antizan and request permission of the local administrative officers to cross the border into land owned by our neighbor. The request comes back with a generous promise of gold, but our local officials are reluctant to lose such lucrative workers. That's from there. And one day want to move there. I'm not going to give them a chance to try to colonize a bit. So I'll say, redirect them to somewhere more appropriate. Of Sharikan. Sharikan? Sharikan. Oh, over there. You didn't see that. Forced removal, they won't be happy there. But what are you gonna do? Also, I believe those people are integrated now, the Taiwans. So our levies should look like this. Sizable now. So that's 16 total. Well, actually, 11 from Sogdia, 4 from Himalaya, and 1 additional support unit, which is supply train. Now we have light infantry, as just as common as the cavalry. There we are. Although Semtish would personally never want to live out on the vast steppes, there are plenty who feel the irresistible call on life beyond the frontiers and abandon everything they know to live in a lawless societies that exist beyond our ken. Even though our records of the steppe peoples are sparse, we do know that they occasionally send traders to our northern settlements to barter for things that they cannot make themselves. With a proper push, we could make these relationships permanent. If the northerners desire the same, our markets would benefit from having our goods in them. Who doesn't enjoy trading? We can all make money together. And so now, look at all these modifiers. Control of regional trade we do have. We have heavenly horses, which we have imported the finest stallions and allowed our most experienced handlers to trade them to exacting standards. In our steppe trading connections. Because of our proximity to the northern steppe, we have established connections with their traders, so now we have more import value. And those tribesmen here that were initially, unhappy about it, well, at least they're slightly happier now. Now we have 15, plus 15 import value. And until the month passes, as you can see the income that we have from taxation, tax income here. Which Fergana is the most valuable, and the commerce, which Chach and Fergana being the most valuable. So you gotta start investing a bit on Fergana. Which should have a bit of, oh my goodness, a lot of that food's being spent. Switch that policy to encourage trade. Get the fish. Every little bit helps. Some vegetables from Kharasmia. And livestock from Bactria. Just trying to do everything in my power to try to stem this food situation in Fergana, because too many people live there and they're using it all up. Hopefully things will turn around. 720 days, that's 2 years. So, you will spend 130 gold, and then 30 of that political influence in 2 years' time, as long as you don't do anything irrational. And it will have the camel farms here, as Kashram is known for the type of camel that lives in the region, as they can often be found wandering through the dusty plains near the river. With some effort, we could take what nature has given us so freely and make something out of the earth, especially if we build roads nearby. So, Kashram here will gain camel farms, which locally, it costs less to build a road there, which we do not have that ability. Local slave output would go up there. And base resource production goes up, which means we can export the camels to whomever wants them. Let's do that. And it won't go down there, beyond that point. So that means you got nothing to do for the next 2 years. Just focus on here, and as well as the manpower recovery, which takes a long time to get there. And yeah, that's basically what that second episode is about. That's just mainly economic intensive. Just don't spend any money, and don't use your political influence on whatever, unless events come up where you're forced to. You have a chance to get rid of them now. It's kind of too little too late, right? Uh-huh. Kick him out. If he ain't gonna like it, because he's my rival. He'll do. He's a minor character. Every little bit helps. Oh my goodness, they've expanded. This is what I feared. They just took a good portion of their population. Now we must fear the Coesmians. If you choose to go to war for them, at least your allies will be with you. Unfortunately, Sogdia is in revolt. As they're in the middle of civil war now. Bactria has not gained its independence. The old man is still around. She's doing well as well. So we still have her. A mature individual by the name of Arzen has approached King in private this morning. In a hushed voice, he spoke of a vision of the near future, in which he's found by his loved ones, having been struck by divine lightning. With shaking hands, he offered all of his worldly goods to the state in return for our protection. Convince them that all will be well. Money's fine, but gotta give it a stability. That reminds me. We could have our own royal guard, but I need a lot more stability than that, and plenty of political influence too. So we can have our own legion, which makes things a little easier for national defense. Even though in turn that would also reduce the size of our levies in reliance to the Legion. But we don't want to get too antsy about that now, do we? They're taking care of it. They haven't threatened me yet. Remember, don't go anywhere. Accident in Antizan. We've been told of a major industrial accident at the extensive works of vicinity of Antizan in Fergana. Base metals is the main export of the city. It seems that knuckleheads in charge of the site allow parts of the structural supports fallen to neglect as they try to keep up with high demand. Huge collapse all but wiped out the working shift of slaves, and the owners are groveling to the provincial authorities for compensation to help with their re-establishing production. The slaves themselves are none too... Hold on, I just lost... slaves themselves are not too happy at the loss of their friends and family, and are naturally cagey about returning to work in such conditions. Without significant repairs, and there is no way production can be maintained at anywhere at near the previous levels, and the slaves are bound to cause problems without the show of goodwill. For pity's sake, seize their property and compensate the slaves. What the hell am I doing? That's something that would be, you know, one would think, right? What's going on up there? A war going on, and yet you haven't called us in. Inspiring, Commander. Now I have a marshal of 8, which is excellent. Where are we? Halfway there. Crud. We might be expected to be called into a war soon. That's what I feared. And if you don't, if you ignore that, then you are going to, you know. There's a way. Give me a moment. Yeah, I'm coming. If you're going to break us up, fine by me. I have a claim to your land, and I would love to fight against you for it. Yeah, we're siphoning the food here. We should not be here. Now, get moving. This way. Let's go. It's going to be a long travel. got him. I forgot my mic was muted. I had to turn it off because I was trying to do something with myself, but I'm fine. I know I wasn't on the phone forever. So you broke your alliance with us. Well, that's fine. Because in a couple of years' time, I will attack you and take your land and give us your fruits, silk, jade, all the good stuff. As of the time, it just couldn't get worse. Army's exiled. Need to get back home before they fight again. Right. So that means all the way back. Many people erroneously believe that camels can only be found in the deserts and dry regions of Africa. But there are Asian varieties, while slightly different than their distant cousins, are just as hardy and able to wander the dusty highlands we control without needing water for weeks. A fact that our traders, the lifeblood of our country, take advantage of the great effect. The wise leader plans for tomorrow and not just today. Yes, sir. Now we get 2 camels that are ready to be exported, if need be. It's a long way, you know. You're not exiled anymore. Come back here. Several nights ago, Kutch was discovered helping himself to a sizable quantity of gold from the national treasury. This is clearly a serious crime. However, it's said to be said for sweeping affairs like this under the carpet. You know, he's one of the pretenders. I'm gonna have you flogged. Take this shot. So that's what you wanted. Well, we'll be having this. Wish it was to ourselves, but that won't be it. Okay, war's over. So what happened is they did take the territory they wanted, and Kucha has been released, which I'd be more happy to ally with Kucha. Only because it needs something to stick up to Shul, which they've allied with the smaller state of Wei Tu. least we didn't see too much fighting, which is good. So we got Kucha on our side, in which they could help us out in this affair. Which it's not going to be till 470 is when we'll be allowed to. Actually, no, we don't. We can actually fight against them because as truce of us, what? Hey, they're the one that broke us up, and this is our way of getting back at them. Yes. And we just sent our levies home. And it is part of Amalia. And Shul, which Kashgar is a province of. And there's a lot of food there. And a sizable population. This will do. We'll consider fighting against them soon before we will finally, although this may be a bad idea, you know. Gotta keep these two, you know, allied with me. In order to, how do we figure out how to deal with Khwarezmia, which is, I consider that as a pretty sizable threat against us. So much so that we may want to consider, you know, hiring mercenaries for the first time to back us up in order to deal with that Khwarezmian menace. Yes, I know it's too many relations and all that, but what can you do? We consider that as a great threat to our interests. Especially that it relates to one of the other nations. And I'm sure eventually we will expand ourselves to there. We just try to find ways to get bigger and bigger. Outside of a diplomatic range. No contact with them. This'll do. So, remember, 30th of January, raise the levies to begin the war against Shul. We got a few months. Keep that well in mind. Even though this area that we plan on taking, Shul has nothing to do with the missions at hand. We just want to expand our influence and get closer to our eastern allies. And may possibly get another ally somewhere to help us out in dealing with Khwarezmia, which is becoming a greater threat than any of us could have imagined. But I understand the distance between us, and I know I have too many relations. And if I didn't have another ally, or anybody for that matter, then maybe we can maybe we'll think about it. Eek, what else? Give me a moment. Just to improve relations a little. Our court philosopher and was a rival to the consort. He's been murdered. We've been informed that Sogdia was found brutally murdered in his home just last night. Investigators have reported a rusty spike was used in the crime, a device known to be favored by Koshana. However, we have no hard evidence linked to our crime. Well, well, she is my wife, but I am supportive of, you know, getting rid of enemies that would potentially be a danger to the realm. So I'm just gonna turn the blind eye on it and just say, a travesty. We were powerless to act. Yeah. My consort is a killer, despite the fact that she is known to be merciful. And also self-controlled. That is something. Oh, I just remembered something else. Give me a moment. Oh, you have the best. I'll give you this. You want to become Zills, which is very good for the Zeal, but since you are my heir, and it would be best to increase the martial skill just a little bit, but you gotta make you change your ambition. Our royal tutor has been summoned to educate the reluctant young Artaxerxes in the manner of our own choosing. The nature of the tutor is most important indeed, so we should choose and attend to his wish and subject carefully. Oxyates. You are secure, aggressive, and submissive. My tutor is none of these things. So I'd rather give you martial education for him to become a great warrior, which, with that ambition of what that is there's a chance of getting 1, low chance of getting 2, well, low chance of losing any of these, but when the ambition is fulfilled, he will gain a random military trait. We just didn't have time with this. I should have paid attention to that since I was so consumed with wars of different entities. But about to reach the end of this month, and then after that, declare war on Shul immediately. He's got a little ally, and we'll take care of that too. We ain't scared. Again, it's part of the province, and we want the rest of this, in which there's plenty of good trade goods to be have. All the silk and the fruits. Good stuff. And plus, taking this area, especially with the sizable population in Kashgar, this would help increase the size of the levies originating from Himalaya. That will be ideal. Stand guard. Or coming down. It's just going to be a long travel before we will take Kashgar and then take the North Tarim Basin, and then one more fortification down there, and then war will be over. So this war should take about 2 years at the most. Just to make damn sure, increase the pay. Levy of Himalaya, this is it. Ours is better. Clearly. And this is the other army of theirs, which has a way better general. Okay, it's a skill of 11. By general, you mean the ruler himself? Confident, prowess, focus. Here's ailing, but he has no, Health-related trait, so he must have had an illness on the other time, but it deteriorated itself, but it doesn't affect, you know, his works in combat and all that. This is why we have to wait, and then we'll attack together. But keep in mind, the numbers are small. Guess what happened was, during that part of the siege, it took some casualties, and then it caused them to say, hey, we don't have enough men to do all this. And there's a few more. Okay. We'll be there in August, and then we'll attack them in the mountain pass, and then we enter and besiege Kashgar, and then that ally of theirs, and have the rest. This is our allied army from Kucha, which unfortunately the ruler isn't skilled martially. The other army, worse. So we have to do the bulk of the fighting here. Camels are for sale. So they're all together now. Being above the supply limit, mountain pass. Move out. Unclear which side will win. Oh, we will win. We have the numbers. And it's our mountains, not theirs. So the battle is to begin on the 10th of September. They will all be involved. Our royal tutor Oxiates has friends far outside our borders, often trying to use his network to the advantage of our nation. He believes his friendship with the Archaeogrammatis of Bactria could be put to use to increase their opinion of us. All I have to do is send some of our wealth his way, and he will try to improve his reputation in Bactria. Yeah, do send him the gold. We'll keep the relations of Bactria up, simply for trade relations, more than anything else. And plus we can get all that money by besieging and taking Kashgar. We hope we picked the right tactic for the job. Since we have more cavalry and infantry than theirs. Oh, we picked the wrong tactic for this. But we got them, I hope. But they're taking a disadvantage due to these mountains, which is still under our control. But we got them. This didn't work. If you want to beat back a bow and take shock action, but that doesn't do much. So both of these go for envelopment. You know you were. It's just I came to the battle first. They're already besieging Toxa, and we'll go for Kashgar. I don't even know what's going on with the food situation over there. We'll deal with that after the war. We just hope for a quick end to this, so we can import some fruits to our way. But as per usual, every little bit of civilization keeps the barbarians away. Sieging Kashgar now. Got a little assistance. Them taking an eternity to have to get there. Bountiful harvest. Word has arrived that this year's harvest was extremely good in the territory of Kavakand. Whilst the merchants may be holding their heads in their hands, the people rejoice at the plummeting price of bread. I don't need to. We're going to get it through this soon. So the people should rejoice. This is due to having an advisor with high statesmanship. This is why you gotta go for statesmanship rather than just skill alone. Once this whole affair is over, I am really going to consider getting a royal guard for this. Even though it would reduce our levy size, but it increases our discipline. Very important. And we get our own legion from the capital region, which is obviously Sogdia. Because we need a royal guard, plus levies, combine the strength, and find the most skilled martial character that we have, so that way we can stand toe-to-toe against the Khwarezmians. And then eventually, Bactria. As long as they haven't been expanding anything. But there are no disloyal characters of a high power base at the moment, but you may want to look at that. Sort by power base. Unfortunately, everybody's too damn loyal because of Civil War victory that's happened recently. So never mind that. Because I would love to take advantage of other people's civil wars and just get the territories bit by bit. That is my intention. Just looking around the world real quick while the siege is ongoing. Okay. There's those barbarians? Because that's why we haven't seen them lately. Because apparently they're being besieged by barbarians. Barbarians on the loose. Sakan barbarians from Karakoram. They're down there. They're heading that way. taken over Achaia Horde. That's concerning. But we will have the ejective nonetheless. But you still gotta take that fort first. $288 days. Well, let's take this area. There we go, defeat their ally as well. Part of North Tarim Basin. All they got is livestock up there. In fact, the food situation was so bad that once we take this fortress, then no doubt that all of this would fall much faster. Going. Guess the barbarians went away. Probably went to Khotan or something. Avam, not to be exact in their language. Yeah, they'll be out of food in a few months. It's gonna fall to Casa soon. All this will be Casa territory. No, it's just with us visual. In the next month, you're going to be out of food, and it'll make the siege progress much easier due to starvation of the land. Which is an unfortunate consequence during wartime. So they're out of food, so this should have more of an effect because of critical food supply now. And we can't forage for food out here either, so part of the status quo. Got blasted. We'll get all this before they can even get to Gucha. Heritage of the Jade Gate. I noticed that. Because sure, that country in itself has that heritage. Lack of food for our army in the levy of Hamalia. I'm looking. Like, is there a way to check out our country's heritage? Alike. As custom dictates, the eager yet politically experienced Chukzak has approached us and since asking for our formal patronage. Such a request carries a few practical duties, but would increase in the standing of Chukzak among his peers. Such benevolent action may also integrate us with the Sogdian elite. Consider it done. Now this is siege training, which Sogdia gains for the next 120 months for assault ability, even though we never use assault ever. And I will gain the trait of original thinker, which what that is siege ability. Oh, it's 10. And +1 martial, just to make myself a little better at this sort of thing. That is why I'm a strategist. Not so long now. Okay, we got all the territories, but just give it a moment until it's under full control. And we should probably disregard that ally of theirs and just leave it alone for the time being. We don't want to prolong the war now, do we? And we can afford a military tradition for the first time. Our traditions for the Sogdians, you can take either the Bactrian military traditions or the Scythian military traditions. So let's have a look at Bactrian first before we decide. Bokashi. Goat pulling is a sport which players mounted on horses try to score with the dead body of a goat or calf, which ups the morale of horse archers. Sack of foot warriors. Sometimes even a horse loving culture have to accept that the horse isn't the solution to everything. So it's light infantry discipline while reducing the cost. But they're saying cost in terms of recruiting them rather than maintenance, I believe. It doesn't say the word maintenance on it. Archery drill. Archers need training. The Sogdians have developed some interesting exercises to shoot down any nuisance. So it ups the archer discipline and reduces the cost of recruiting set archers. Now over here on Scythians, there are two Scythian military traditions. Coated leather armor. Judging by the Scythian gold ornaments made by Greek artisans, Scythian riders wore quilted leather jackets and trousers well before the 4th century BC. So, army weight modifier is reduced, which would be good because I have plans to create our first professional army instead of relying on levies all the time, which can be problematic. The others, marriage through combat. It was common for Scythian women to consider marriage with a suitor who had killed another man in combat. You get a lot of Sogdian freemen throughout the countryside over there, but that only ups the light infantry offense. Let me see, just beyond this point. Knowing the more we expand, I think, I mean, we don't have too many horse archers, but I'm sure they're going to become increasingly visible. So, but I haven't looked down the line. Like I was thinking about going this way, and this would lead to, well, we don't have war camels yet. This one's more defensive intensive. this way is infantry oriented, no doubt. Down. Okay, go the other way now. Because you were looking down this way, but you didn't look at the rest before you decide to do it. Cavalry oriented on this side. I'm kind of divided because, you know, like I want to get this, but also I am possibly considering but I fear that the more we expand, especially when we get back to eventually liberate the Sogdian homeland from the Bactrians, that we're going to start getting more cavalry and sometimes, you know, light infantry. And also, look one bit regarding army weight. Like, where do you read that? I mean, I know it's here somewhere, unless they're referring to I mean, that's something that we ought to think about, but I'm kind of divided. Like, I kind of want to start with either this, but having more light infantry in our future, you know, army would be excellent, because, you know, they would provide support and plus, light infantry tend to last longer in a fight than any other units, because morale reasons. And having them disciplined just to pack a little punch, I mean, that'd be grand too, from the Bactrian side of things. But over there, I also kind of want this. Especially for horse archer defense. And all that. And plus, you get a character of exceptionally high marshals promoted from ranks, should that time ever come. I mean, there are ways to get more military experience besides fighting wars and war exhaustion and all that. But it is also to drill. But ultimately, I'm gonna go with sack of foot wars to have more light infantry discipline and reduce the cost of recruiting the said light infantry. That's what we're gonna go for. So down the line, we're gonna keep going with this. And we should be more defensive intensive, knowing that we are a smaller country with a small army. We're dealing with larger ones out there. So we have to be opportunists here, because I am tempted with this idea of going towards Sogdian Rock in the Silk Road for slightly role-playing reasons of us being Sogdians and all that. Maybe we can ignore them. Just go for it. Take all this. There'll be less aggressive expansion than what we would typically get, unless you want to keep the war going for at least another year or so, and get Toxa as well, because that's part of North Tarim Basin. As obviously, you know, we'd rather have these smaller entities have that for themselves. But since you done took Kucha, guess we'll be having to all of this. Yeah. Let's just have it at that. Okay. Shoal and North Tarim Basin to Sogdia. And this would increase the size of the levies of Himalaya, of course. After a protracted conquest, we finally routed the Shoal armies and laid waste to their lands. During the sack of their capital, many important prisoners were taken, many of them having previously held important positions in the Shoal court. We now languish in our dungeons, awaiting whatever fate we decide to impose upon them. We want to reduce the aggressive expansion because having that up messes with the stability. So Banner stills the class, put the rest to the sword. Sackets won't like it, but we'll possibly integrate them as well in future. This whole thing can be left alone. Obvious is obvious. Whatever experience we've gained, we got them. As a reminder, it's part of Himalaya, not Sogdia. And you know what? I am going to go for that right now. Royal Guard. This is going to reduce the levy size multiplier and rely on the new army. And we'll be able to raise Legion and Capital Region. But this will up our discipline for our, military units in general. So which means that we'll, fight harder. A great kingdom such as ours cannot rely solely on levied troops to support the expansive foreign policies of the realm. A permanent and well-drilled royal guard is not just a luxury that a monarch might use to impress lesser kings. It is instrumental to bending the world to our will. It's going to cost us plenty of stability for this. And the monthly legitimacy isn't going anywhere. Would like to do that again, but keep in mind, if you do that every time, the cost is going to keep going up. But anyways, yeah, it was starting here, but now all the food's been regained. Silken livestock can be exported. Used to have a sizable population, but not anymore. Ah, no wonder. They had another fortress. Take that down. This can keep. For now. I wonder why that siege took long up there. I didn't notice that there was another fortress on top of it. Right. We could form a legion of the size of 10 cohorts. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, we'll stop this episode here. In the next episode, if we have the manpower to support this, we should be able to create our first army. But how long can peace last? But I do know this. As our boy has turned 16, he is a tactician, but get rid of laziness, then maybe he'll be worth salvaging. But he's got zeal. All that. Compared to this other one who's much better. But he's the only son in there that I got. And mind you, those other pretenders, they're most supporting him, but not all of them. But I'm sure they'll come around. So in the next episode, we'll consider forming a first army to make up for the reduction of our levy size, particularly here. All that. So tune in the next episode for all that and more. But until then, so long for now.